Mannering from HIT Training, and I'm not going to do too much of an introduction to them because they're going to introduce themselves to you as well. We will also be recording this session. So if you do have any objections, please do let me know in the chat and we will stop the recording straight away. But if you could also pop in the chat the name of your school and the amount of students as well, that'd be really fab, just so that we can see what numbers we've got there and who we've got. Oh, fantastic, we've got you doing that already. Brilliant. So I am just going to hand over to, I think we'll introduce Paul first of all. So we'll say a quick introduction to Paul. So if you just want to introduce yourself, Paul, that would be fab.
Hi, I'm Paul Mannering. I'm the Chef Academy Principal for HIT Training. And myself and my team are responsible for the culinary development and delivery for our apprenticeship programme.
Fantastic. And Stuart? Oh, you're on mute, Stuart.
That was a good start. It's a great start, wasn't it? It's always good. My name's Stuart Wildsmith. I'm a lecturer at University College Birmingham. I'm involved in the Royal Academy of Culinary Arts Apprenticeships. I lecture full time and I deal with culinary apprenticeships across the Midlands.
Brilliant, thank you. So I'm going to stay with you at the moment, Stuart, if that's okay.
That's fine.
Now, obviously, you're from University College Birmingham, so you'll be speaking, you know, about the college as well. But obviously, just to bear in mind, everybody else, that that what Stuart will be also giving you an overview is the college life, really. So regardless of it being at UCB, this will also be very similar across the country. So you know, if we are talking about in the Birmingham area, don't worry if you're somewhere else, because this will also apply to local colleges. We just wanted to give you that overview of potentially taking a pathway into college. So can you tell us the types of courses that are offered at the college and a little bit about what skills and knowledge a student might gain if they were to come and do the college pathway?
Yeah, first of all, good morning. Obviously, Paul's going to talk in depth a little bit about apprenticeships. So I'll kind of, obviously, UCB offer apprenticeships and most colleges will offer apprenticeships. College courses. So the recognised pathway now is through the National Vocational Qualification route, the NVQ. So some colleges will do an NVQ1 and then an NVQ2 and an NVQ3. UCB slightly different. We start them on an NVQ2. Which lasts for a year. So the NVQ2 and the NVQ3 take a year each. So you're looking at 2 years. Pretty much think about your A-level kind of period of time, Kerry, very much. And then, of course, it's thinking ahead and future into that. So we're very lucky at University College in that we are a college and a university. We're quite sort of unique in the world of education. So you can go then on to level 4, level 5, level 6. So your bachelor's in culinary arts. You can then go on and do a master's in culinary arts if you want. So in a way, we are sort of quite unique in the fact that you can enter the doors at 16 with very little and leave at 23 with a master's degree. But primarily we look at NVQ2, NVQ3 is the preferred pathway. Some colleges will do NVQ1 as well, and that will extend your college course to 3 years.
Brilliant, thank you. So what would a day in the life of, say, one of the introductory courses look like? What can students expect to be studying within those qualifications?
It's split very much between practical and theory. So the practical side is split into 2 very distinct areas. So you do what we call kitchen and larder, which is very savoury products, and then you do pastry, which is desserts, etc. Of course, there's something, even though it's a very vocational course, it's still really, the theory side of it is still really, really important. So there will be some sessions classroom based, and I know people go into culinary arts because they like that practical side of it. Sadly, with everything like that, knowing the theory is probably as important, if not more important, than actually learning the skills as well. You will, of course, if you haven't done English and maths, or you haven't gained your pass level in English and maths, there will be some English and maths involved in there. You will have a tutorial. There will be some fundamental British values involved as well. So it's a really, really nice mix, but the predominant focus will be on your practical skills.
Fantastic. And I remember the theory well from my college days, using practical cookery and the theory of catering. My favourite book in the whole entire world.
It still exists, doesn't it, Paul? Still exists.
the best book. It's the best book that you will ever need when you're going into doing cookery. That's for sure. It teaches you everything you need, the theory side that you can put into practice. So it's good to know it's still being used. It was many years ago for me now. What progression can be made as part of a young person's career? So they come and study with you. What kind of progression routes can they take? You've touched upon them being able to go through the different levels, but kind of after that, is there anything else that they can do?
Many different things you can do. It's one of the beautiful things about coming into professional cookery. We offer, of course, we've got 2 levels coming on board. I won't bore you with all that because we'd be here for hours. We offer all of our students work placements, and all our students do 4 weeks in restaurants around Birmingham. So there you've got an opportunity there to impress an employer and go out and actually go and do some part-time work, with the look then to when you finish of going out of working full-time. We're very proactive, and all colleges are now very proactive with getting their students out there and actually out there looking for work. Competitions, a lot of the good colleges will offer you places in competitions. It's a chance for you to go out and try your hand with against other colleges and try and be the best person you can be. We generally, in hospitality and culinary arts, tend to be really good at that.
No, that's fantastic. Yeah, because obviously we run the Future Chef competition, so the next level is going.
I actually mentored a Future Chef winner,
Fantastic.
2017. So yeah, and again, sort of Future Chef at Springboard again is a fantastic competition, open to 14 to 16-year-olds, and it is one of the benchmarks that good colleges will use.
Fantastic. So you've mentioned work experience and work placement opportunities and the competitions. Why do you think they're so important in helping, for the young people that are coming through?
College is very much a halfway house between school and work. It's very different. I can remember going off at 16. I'm an ex-grammar school boy, and going off to work. And after my first shift, I was like, "What is this? It's crazy." Because of course school is very much about being regimented and you know where you've got to be at certain times. College is a little bit like that halfway house, where we don't only teach you how to cook, but we also teach you how to grow up as well. And some people actually need that. Crucially, some people don't, and some people want to go into work, and that's where the UK's brilliant apprenticeship scheme actually sort of comes in. But for some people, college is absolutely perfect. Now, college will teach you how to do it properly. What you have to bear in mind is that industry, your time with pressures are different, really different. So don't be surprised if you learn one thing at college and then go out into industry and they're doing it slightly differently. Just embrace that, embrace it, and take on as much knowledge as you can possibly get.
No, that's fantastic. Thank you. So what job opportunities are available? Just give us a couple of examples of some of the places where the students that you've taught have gone off to do, whether that's UK or that's international.
Of course, I mean, hospitality is one of the true global businesses, isn't it? Where a lot of students come to us at 16 as very fresh-faced, very shy people who think that that they're just going to go and work in Birmingham. I've had students that have now gone and worked all over the world. I've had, of course, my main focus now, I used to teach full time. My main focus now is very much like Paul on apprenticeships, because it's so exciting. And I look after the Royal Academy students. UCB do a Junior Chefs Academy. So I had 2 students in that Junior Chefs Academy group. One won Springboard Future Chef, that was Katie, back in 2017, who I mentored. One is now the commis chef for the Bocuse d'Or. The Bocuse d'Or is the World Cup of cooking. These 2 were both in the same group. I mean, it was like the class of 90. I never followed football. It was like the class of 92. I've had one student currently, Poppy O'Toole, who's very big on TikTok. So she's got a book coming out now. There's loads and loads of really good stories. One of my students won National Hospitality Apprentice of the Year back in 2015. It's what you want to make it. You set your own goals. And remember, your goals will move depending on your age. So some people want to do everything at 16, 17, 18. They want to go out and prove themselves. I'm sure Paul's nodding here. He absolutely completely agrees with me there. And some students will want to go out and they will want to try and prove that they want to be the best. If that's not you, don't worry. Your time will come, and you will come to that natural point in your life where you go, now I need to go and do something. So the good news about that is I've talked about 4 different things there that, you know, just in like a minute that my students have done, and that is an example of the industry that we work in. We thrive on other people's successes, and I think that's so important. And again, that gives you so much motivation to actually get up and go out and do the job.
Absolutely, that's brilliant. That sounds fantastic. So what would you say are the benefits to taking a college route?
Again, I think I've touched on this a little bit already, haven't I? It is that very much that halfway house where school is very regimented, work is a completely different ball game from school. And this is something that maybe I would have benefited from when I was school, is actually them telling you how to go out to work, because I found that a real shock. It's a halfway house. You're with a lot of good people. The lecturers are exceptionally knowledgeable. Okay, you're in an environment where it's no risk the majority of the time. A lot of colleges will have realistic working environments like restaurants, so you can try it out, you can have a look, you can see if it's for you. Is it the best pathway? I honestly, genuinely, sitting on both sides, I think it depends on you. It depends on the student. What do they want to do? Where do they want to go? And for that, you're probably going to need to sit down at your interview when you go to college and go, this is what I'm interested in. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to achieve. What is the best pathway for me?
Well, my next question was going to be, what advice would you give to a young person to pursue a college career? But I think you've kind of covered that as well. And I think that's absolutely important, because young people, you know, are all very different. So a college route may be the best route, but another pathway into the industry might be another one as well. And it's really refreshing to hear that as well, Stuart. You know, that you're encouraging the students to go and find their own path, to find their own way. That's absolutely fantastic. And it's clear you love your job.
32 years. I actually went to UCB when it was Birmingham College of Food, and I went out. I worked in industry. I've been a chef at Rosette level. I managed my own pub and restaurant at 23 on the banks of the Thames in London. I've worked in Australia. I've been around the Far East. I did a culinary tour, or I call it a culinary tour. There were a few other things involved when I was 21. It was brilliant, and it's been the backbone of my life. It's put my children through school. It's bought my house. It's everything that's happened to me in my life has come through hospitality.
That's
and
nice.
You know, to actually be in a position now where I can pass that on and try and encourage people into the industry, where it's very humbling. It's really humbling.
Oh, that is so lovely to hear. Thank you so much, Stuart. And I think
No
you've
problem.
given the students that are on today lots to think about the college route. So thank you so much for all of your information and your insight as well. That's been fantastic. So I'm just going to pass across to you now, Paul. Paul's been nodding away all the way throughout that, you know, agreeing a lot with what Stuart's saying, which is fantastic. But Paul's going to talk to us about the apprenticeship side of pathways into the industry. So let's start a little bit. First of all, Paul, tell us a little bit about your career path up to where you are now.
Yeah, it was a little bit non-conventional. I went to college myself, and totally agree with what Stuart said. It's very much, you know, down to the individual. I went from school straight into college. Had a shocking relationship with my parents. The only thing I was convinced I needed to do was leave home. So I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do in hospitality. So I actually signed up and became a Royal Marine, which has nothing to do with catering at all. Eventually, I sort of came out of the forces, and I went into becoming a chef. So I kind of took one level of stress and pressure and kind of swapped it for another. But yeah, then I've worked through various levels. I've worked within Rosetted, within Michelin kitchens at sort of junior levels. Lived in London for 7 years because I just wanted to change it up a bit in terms of the sort of scene there with culinary. And then I've just kind of started to move into development work. I did some work as a development chef, which is a completely different ball game, you know, working to briefs and sort of client requests on developing products. And then I started getting into the more vocational training element, and that's kind of led me into, first of all, into MVQs, and then later into the standards. So looking at the the commis chef, chef de partie, production chef standards, and things like that. So yeah, I suppose it was a natural evolution. I got very comfortable and interested into training other chefs. I did a lot of work internally when we had new openings and new launches, so I'd actually work with that brigade on their launch menu, to develop the dishes for them and actually take them through those processes. And I kind of just got this affinity for training then. I kind of fell in love with the whole giving something back to the industry, and just working with different people and to skill them and develop them.
No, that's fantastic. So what is your actual job role now, Paul?
So I'm the Chef Academy principal for HIT Training. I run our Chef Academy, which is a national academy. We've got 24 venues across the country, and I run a small team of senior Chef Academy tutors, and then there's some support tutors as well. So we've got that kind of national geographical reach, but we do a lot of work actually with colleges. We do a lot of, for me, it's about that partnership working. We're not, there's a route for everybody. One size doesn't fit all, and actually we're all in it for the same reason. We're all in it for the industry we love.
No, that's brilliant. And did you do an apprenticeship throughout your training, or did you just go sort of straight into industry from the Marines?
No, I've got a lot of white in my beard, so I was City and Guilds 706 1 and 2, and so it was the City and Guilds program back then. To be fair, when I started my education at college, there really wasn't a lot of apprenticeships in the hospitality industry. It was mainly things like engineering, where you traditionally got those apprenticeship programs. So no, I mean, would I have chosen an apprenticeship back then? I'm not sure, because I was still working part-time and I was at college. But college back then was, Monday to Friday. You had a couple of late nights where you either were front of house in the restaurant or back of house as a chef. So it was a lot going on.
Absolutely, I remember those days very well. So can you explain what an apprenticeship actually is and the benefits to undertaking an apprenticeship?
Yeah, absolutely. Very similar to what Stuart said. An apprenticeship is a package program, for want of a better word, which covers the knowledge and the theory, as well as the skills, but also things like behaviours. So we deliver the new, whether it's say new, they've been around a little while now, the standards. So it's at level 2, we've got commis chef and production chef. At level 3, we've got chef de partie and senior production chef, and then there's a senior culinary chef at level 4, and then you can start going into management level 5, 6, and 7, degree level. I think one of the best kept secrets is that you can do a degree level apprenticeship without the student debt. You've got people in university who may have to incur quite considerable debts to put them through there. Well, actually, if you're working with an apprenticeship which is a 6 or a 7, and it's paid through a completely different way, which is you don't hear about very often. But I know there are a lot more young people now going in at level 2, and they're progressing through their career, and then they're sort of coming out the other end with degree level or senior management roles. And that's that's down to the individual very much. I suppose the biggest difference between what we do is we're a work-based provider. So there's no college or day release in that sense. What we do is we have a training consultant that comes out and visits the apprentice in their place of work. They're full-time employed in that place of work, and they will come in and work with them on the skills and review their knowledge. We also have an online learning platform, so it's very flexible and accessible for young people. So that you can work on a laptop, on your smartphone. You can work on a computer in the office at work, that sort of thing. And then what we do for our chefs is they come out for a day every so many weeks, every so many months. They'll go into a Chef Academy workshop where it's really a full day immersive experience looking at those culinary areas. So yesterday I was in London at St Luke's, and we were doing a game and offal workshop, and we had apprentices in there that had never used game birds, never used offal before. So we get you right in there with those skills. So it's kind of like having that, a bit like a portable college, in the sense that we will take you out of the workplace as well. So you do get that safe learning environment. I suppose that it's a happy blend between being full-time employed and earning, and then getting that mentoring and that skill development as well.
No, that's fantastic. And I have attended one of your Chef Academy workshops with Emma Hall. It was a seafood one, and it was absolutely incredible. Really, really great. So yeah, I know you've got a lot of knowledgeable chefs that actually, you know, are out there instilling their skills and things on the young people, which is fantastic. So what advice would you give to a young person who's thinking about taking an apprenticeship with HIT training, and how would they go about that?
I think, as Stuart said, weigh up the pros and cons. You know, decide what works best for you, because there will always be someone that prefers the sort of structure of college and that kind of learning environment. But equally, there's a lot of young people that just want to get out into industry, and they want to start earning, and they want to start, you know, working. I think one of the biggest challenges for me when I was at college was trying to balance it all. You know, you're full time at college, you're doing your work, your studies. You had to have a part-time job, or I did, because I wanted to earn some money, and you know, I kind of wanted to be able to buy myself things and things like that, but also I wanted a social life, and that was quite hard to balance all those three things together. So I think the work-based apprenticeship route gives you that. Yes, you're working full-time and you're employed, you're doing your training embedded within that process, but your social life and that kind of work-life balance, they call it now, is almost built in, because you know you're going to get your days off with your employer, but you know what, work out what's right for you, and have a look into it. You know, there are some amazing colleges out there that do a fantastic job. You need to work out whether that's something that you want to pursue, and look at their, you know, look at the grades, look at the sort of anecdotes, the quotes, that, you know, speak to people that have been in that environment, and I think that way you can really make an informed decision about what's right for you in your career.
Fantastic. Thank you, Paul. So if someone was interested in an apprenticeship with HIT, how would they find out more information?
So we've got a website, HIT Training. You can go onto that, and then there's a whole drop-down section on the Chef Academy. It talks about all of our culinary programs, all of our front of house programs as well, because we do all your front of house functions. The other thing is, you know, a lot of young people have already got part-time jobs, or they're doing a bit of work, you know, could be washing up, it could be a bit of waiting, maybe, you know, helping out in the kitchen. If you've already got a great relationship with an employer, you know, speak to them first. They might be looking for somebody right now that says, do you know what, I would love to develop my KP, you know, my Saturday boy or girl. And that way you've already got your foot in the door, you know. And the way the apprenticeship works is it's funded essentially through a pot of money that large employers have to spend, or if it's a small independent employer, that the government pay 90% of that cost. So actually the employer is left with a very, very small amount to sort of pay, which is done in a monthly sort of deduction format. So actually there are no real barriers to doing it. We could help with employment. You know, we do a screening service and a recruitment service as part of HIT Training. So we can reach out nationally, and you know, some of the companies we work with, some of the big national accounts, they're global companies. So we've got people that are already doing work in New York. You know, we've had chefs that are now working out in the Caribbean because they've the connections with the large national employers they work with.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Paul. You've given us a real insight into sort of apprenticeships and where that can take you, and the benefits as well. So thank you to both of you, because it has been really great to hear from both sides, but also really great how complementary you are to each other's side of going into industry, you know, an encouragement of the young people to actually find their own path. And I'm 100% an advocate of that. You know, go out and try different things, talk, ask questions, and you will find your way, and you will find your path. Absolutely. So does anybody have any questions for Stuart or Paul? You can just pop those in the chat if you do. This is the awkward bit where we have to wait for the typing to start.
Absolutely. Sorry, can I'll just add just one more thing very quickly into that. Paul, I thought you spoke really, really well about the apprenticeship side of it, and I absolutely, completely agree with absolutely everything you've said there. Just a quick thing about parents and hospitality. I'll tell you a quick story. My mother was a head teacher and my father was a doctor, and I went to grammar school. And 33 years ago, I came home, started doing my A-levels, and came home and said, I don't want to do these anymore. I want to be a chef. And I might as well have told them that I wanted to be a murderer, because it probably would have gone down a little bit better. Because, of course, back then, and Paul, this will probably resonate with you, is that it was kind of seen as something that people who didn't have a brain kind of went and did, because it was very vocational. That has now completely and utterly changed, and we need to get this message out to parents as well, is that now you can do UCB offer bachelor's degrees in culinary arts management, also in professional cookery. 2 years ago, I completed a master's degree in culinary arts management. You can go all the way to level 7, something that wasn't there 33 years ago. That information, a little bit like Paul was talking about degree level apprenticeships, Britain's best kept secret. Okay, you can't get all the way. You can get the same qualifications in culinary arts now as you can in any other subject.
No, that is really great advice as well. No, absolutely. I did take the whole route through university and do my I did hospitality and catering management and absolutely loved it. But I loved the academic side. But there were people equally that I went to college with that then went straight into industry and have forged really great careers for themselves as well. So absolutely, you know, you'll meet all kinds of different people and different, you know, different people will go into different routes, and just you can take your time as well. You don't have to rush into these decisions too. You know, that there is time to go out and speak to people, and you know, really find what it is that you want to do. I think we've just had a comment come through. Amanda, is that a question that's come through, Amanda?
Yeah, sorry, I was talking and I wasn't unmuted. So Rosalie Ford has just made a statement, actually, just saying thank you so much for your honesty, especially about not wanting to be at home. I think it really resonated with pupils. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Fantastic.
Yeah, good.
Hold on. You've spoken about wonderful opportunities abroad. Can you speak about visas? Oh, I'm not sure that we have that level of expertise here.
I don't have that level of knowledge, sadly. I mean, when I did it 29 years ago, it was a fairly easy experience. I think one of the other things you have to remember as well is that chefs are in short supply not only in the UK but also around the world as well, and it is one of the fundamental things about being a human being that you have to eat. So not only are you learning a trade, you're also actually learning a very valuable and vital life skill. Everybody needs to eat. That's why it's a truly global industry. So as a chef, I remember with myself, my wife's from New Zealand, and we looked at moving to Australia about 13 years ago. We didn't. She's a teacher, so she put on her application teacher, and it was rejected back for an interview. I put 4 letters on mine, CHEF, and it was like big green light, yes, you can come. So we generally tend to not have too many problems with that. But as for the visa question, I honestly don't know.
If you are doing work placements and things through colleges or universities, there are support systems within the college and university networks to be able to help to support with those as well. But you can also get a lot of advice off the government websites that will help to support with that. So depending on your age as well, you know, if it is a placement through college or university, I know when I was there was somebody who would help to support with those applications and that advice as well.
Okay, a few more questions. So one for Paul here. Paul, are HIT apprenticeships available in Scotland?
They are. We have a partner in Scotland. We have a partner in all the devolved nations in Wales as well. So what we actually do is we work alongside them. They deliver a programme that mirrors ours. There are some slightly different funding rules with the devolved nations. So what we've done is the content and the delivery is matched, but the more technical logistical stuff that sits in the background is very much aligned to how they do it and how their funding works. So yes, is the slightly long-winded answer there. Fantastic.
There's another question for you, Paul. So what about your cookery training at HMF? Is this a good career and training?
Do you know what? I never actually did any cookery training when I was in the forces. I went in as a Marine. I actually, I mean, the food was great. Don't get me wrong. And we've had apprentices in various armed forces around the country, and yeah, I mean, it's a completely different structure. You know, you could be catering for a couple of thousand, and you could be working in the office as mess, you could be doing fine dining, you could be doing competition work. One of our really good clients actually ran Camp Bastion, and he was catering for a couple of thousand people every day. Obviously not on his own, but
Fantastic.
he now is the culinary director of Wembley. So you can see that, you know, these sorts of things in your career take you in lots and lots of different directions.
Fantastic. So one other question. Just from one of the teachers saying that my kids have additional needs and would love the opportunity. I think that's in relation to working abroad and perhaps even taking up apprenticeships or college route, and just worried about the paperwork. Is there support there to help?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of flexibility in both college and apprenticeship routes. We have some learning support funding. We also have specialists and practitioners that can step in and support with certain areas. We're big advocates of very flexible gathering of evidence and competence. So if writing pages and pages isn't your thing, we'll do it through things like voice recordings, do it as like an interview basis, so that you can impart the same knowledge verbally as you can written. We do have a signposting service as well, so that if there's a really profound learning need, we'll get that looked at, and we'll get the experts to do it. You know, we can support up to a level, but then also we can signpost. With regard to working abroad, just to touch on that visa question, if you're already employed with an employer that has connections abroad, or they're a global business, short-term exchanges will be covered by the employer. So you could go over, I don't know, to New York, you could travel somewhere, it could be for a month, and it would be covered by them, because it would be like a working exchange. You only need to look at visas if you're going over individually, and then you want to, you have to have a working visa as opposed to a travel visa. So they are slightly different. There is also an apprenticeship scheme, which is very similar to an exchange. So basically, we have clients in Sodexo, in Compass, big, huge national and global companies. You could effectively take a chef working in Paris and exchange them with a chef working in London, and they'd be able to do that as part of this exchange process. But that would be covered by the employer, so you don't need to worry about your own visas for that kind of work.
Again, and just sort of touching on that from sort of a college perspective, all colleges will have academic skills workers and academic skills sections. We do a lot of assessment at the start of courses, so if there are any additional needs, then things are put in place with that. Just touching on what you were talking about placements there, the UK used to run a system called Erasmus, which was sending college students over to Europe fully paid to go and experience life over there and work over there. Sadly, obviously, because of Brexit, that's been cancelled now. There is a scheme actually in its place now called the Turing Scheme, named after Alan Turing, the mathematician. It's very much in its infancy. I have actually been to a couple of meetings about the Turing Scheme, and it looks like it's going to start going ahead this summer, which is brilliant. Obviously, with sort of with COVID happening and everything. So there are, again, it's a little bit of try before you buy as well when you do things like Erasmus and Turing, because a lot of people are sort of like apprehensive about moving abroad or going away, and that's natural. But actually, the Turing Scheme and the Erasmus scheme, as it was absolutely brilliant. I mean, our students used to absolutely love it. I mean, we used to go to Portugal, and actually, as lecturers, we used to stomach it as well, because we used to have to go over there. But,
tough gig.
Yeah, well, it's a dirty job, Paul. It's a dirty job. But yeah, so there's always those opportunities, always, and you can do those regardless of whether or not. We offer our Royal Academy of Culinary Arts apprentices now a chance with Turing, because they do it when they've finished their course as opposed to doing it when they're on their course. So there's always the opportunities. The opportunities are always there.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Are there any more questions, Amanda?
No more questions? No.
Brilliant. No, that was absolutely fantastic. So thank you very much to both of you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to come and talk to us about those pathways, because I think it's really hopefully has given the teachers and the students some insight into potential paths that they can take, regardless of who they are, what they do, or where they're from. There's lots of different opportunities too. Springboard, with some of the questions that you've had, and we also have a range of Springboard ambassadors that are happy to be able to speak to young people about different opportunities that are available within the industry, and may be able to help to support with some of the questions that you have had. So Amanda's just popped in the link a YouTube video, and that YouTube video is about completing a career scope profile. Takes about 5 minutes to do. It's not very long, and then somebody from our career scope team will be in contact to see how we can offer you further information, advice and guidance, whether that be a one-to-one discussion, whether that be that we put you in touch with a college provider, or with HIT training, or with a Springboard ambassador. We are here to help to support you and your students to help you make those decisions about your career as well. So if you have a watch of the video, it will take you through how to complete it, and the link is there on the end as well. But if nobody else has got any more questions, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Paul, Stuart, I think you've been absolutely fab. You've given us a really great insight, and we do look forward to working with you again at Springboard. So thank you very much. Thank you to the schools and colleges as well. You've been absolutely fab. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, just on that point, you've made a good point, Amanda. Next week we do have our last of the culinary career sessions, which is coming up. We've got 2 amazing chefs, so we're going to give you an insight into all the different benefits of being a chef, from travelling to making new friends to earning money. They're going to be telling you all about the amazing opportunities that are available out there as a chef as well. So wish you a really great day. Hope it's sunny where you are as well, and take care, everybody. See you soon. Bye.